Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is Doug Hoffman. I'm the Associate AD for Media Relations here at Utah State. Do some introductions first, and then we'll have several of these people talk with you before we take questions. Starting to my right, head football coach Blake Anderson, along with Josh Davis and his parents, Chrissy and Matt. To my left, Utah State Interim AD Jerry Bovey, Mike Williams, Associate AD for Sports Medicine, Kendra Gilmore and Brady Molnar, training staff. So the flow for today is we'll have Jerry Bovey start off, and then we'll have Coach Anderson get up and speak, and then Josh is going to speak. I'm sorry, Mike's going to speak after Coach Anderson. Sorry, and then we'll have Josh go after that, followed by Josh's mom and dad, and then we'll take questions after that. Okay. So Jerry Bovey.
Good morning. Welcome. Thanks for being here on a snowy day. It's opening day baseball, and I've always wanted to be a leadoff, so appreciate the opportunity. Today is a great day. It's a day of celebration, a celebration of life. When these types of things happen, you drop everything that you're doing that seems like it's the most important thing in the world, and you go right to the task at hand. And we're in the people business. Among all the other things we do, it's about people. And it starts and ends really with our student athletes. So I was sitting in my office last Thursday having a normalish day, if there can be such a thing in our business. And I got a text from one of our staff members down at practice. And it was simple. It was a picture from way high up. I couldn't really tell what was happening in the picture, but it was simply, "You may want to come down here. One of our football players is getting worked on." And I could see that there was life-saving. It was a life-saving situation. So I shut my door, had a quick prayer, and then I ran out of the office. One of our staff members thought, "I didn't know you could run that." They thought I was going to the bathroom, actually, because I was headed in that direction. But I came right down, and like I said, everything kind of time stands still in those kind of moments, and a lot of things are rushing through your head. But the thing that is constant in all of this is that all of our staff, these folks that are here, we take seriously the charge that we're here to protect our student athletes. Mom and Dad were in Carlsbad, California, and we had to serve in that role, all of us in our different roles. And I couldn't be more proud of our staff for the work that they did and the quick action that they took. It is kind of strange that Mike has been trained at Danny Berger's here today, and we can retell that story too. But Mike got a little practice in that situation, has been through this, and that training that they go through kicked in, and ultimately what these three to my left did saved Josh's life. And I'll be forever grateful for that. You'll hear from Mom and Dad shortly, and I know that they're grateful for that. But that's what we do. We're in the people business. We're in the human business. And when it all comes down to it, it becomes about love. Coach Anderson, it's tough to be a football coach in today's world. And yet in those moments, he did what he does best. He was right there by his side. It was a tough situation. It was emotional. And yet as soon as Josh was secure and put in the ambulance and sent down to Logan Regional Hospital, he had to pivot into being a head coach. And he'll talk a little bit about that, but his leadership and kind of typifying what was most important that day came out. We shut everything down, and it was about Josh. And I'm grateful for his leadership and the way that he conducted himself, because it starts at the top. How we act, what we do, and what our focus is on comes out in moments like this. So I appreciate that. The common denominator to all this is love, because in the end, we love these young men and young women that we have charge over, the 400 plus student athletes in our program, and we take seriously our charge to protect them and watch over them. And it's never been more difficult to be in our business than it is today, with all of the things that we have to deal with. We're managing social media and trying to shut down, the business side of telling that story, so that the human side comes out and in the forefront. So, again, we appreciate you being here. This is a celebration of what matters most, and we're really grateful that Josh is with us. Josh, no matter what happens in his football career, Josh is always going to be an Aggie. I'll never forget last Thursday as long as I live. It will be one of those things that in my short book that I write one day, it'll be a major chapter of gratitude and success for how our staff worked. I mean, we spent time, Coach and I were at 3 a.m. We're down there early Friday morning. And everyone kept saying, "You can leave. I got this. Everybody can leave." Kendra was there. Nobody wanted to leave because until Mom and Dad showed up, we felt the responsibility to be there for Josh. The other thing I want to say is that the will to live is strong. When I got to the field, you had all of our folks kneeled around Josh, as well as paramedics and others that were there talking to him. Someone had said, "He can hear you." And they were all just talking to him, encouraging him to fight, and he was fighting. I learned a little bit about Josh that day. He's a fighter. And even at the hospital, he woke up once. The doctors didn't expect that, and he sat up in the bed and started pulling out cords and taking everything off because I think he wanted to get back to practice. And they had to sedate him again because his will to be upright and moving was so strong. We watched everything. I mean, every breath that Josh took. About every sixth breath, he had kind of a little twitch in his left shoulder. But it got to be where we expected to see that little twitch, and we knew he was going to be okay. So, are you still twitching a little on the? So again, thanks for being here. You're going to hear from folks. I'm proud to work with these people because when it's all said and done, although we work in a business, we care. This is what it's all about. And young men like Josh are what we come to work every day for. So if there's nothing else you get out of this today, know that all of our staff, no matter what our role is here, whether it's facilities or marketing, in the end, we do what we do because of this. So we're grateful for the opportunity we have to be here and to be Aggies. Coach?
Didn't really prepare a statement, just as I usually do, kind of speak from my heart. I was kidding with Josh. There's better ways to go about getting your own press conference than how we went about this one. But the circumstances are what they are. I think about Thursday as a head coach and as a father. I'll do my best not to get emotional. It's hard not to. And it's one of those days you never want to see happen. It's anytime you see a guy go down, it really doesn't matter what takes him down. You don't want to see a guy go down. And in this case, as soon as I knew it was Josh, based off of the seizure that he had a year ago, immediately was very, very concerned that here we go again. And Josh kept saying that in the hospital as I talked to him after he came to and he was back to himself a little bit. He was struggling with remembering. And we had the same conversation about 100 times, Mom shaking her head because if it wasn't me he was asking Mom or Dad or whoever was close. Now, what happened? And you mean just like last time? So when I saw him go down, I was hoping and praying that it was similar to last year, just kind of a mild seizure opportunity. He came back from it so quickly and was able to walk off the field and go kind of get checked out. And as you guys will learn, he went through a whole battery of tests a year ago to make sure he was okay. We didn't find what the cause was, hoping that was the last time we'd ever be dealing with a seizure, but it wasn't. And on Thursday, this time his body responded differently. And we had a completely different, emergency on our hands. I think about Thursday in a few different ways. Number one, how hard he fought. The entire time that the trainers and the medical professionals were working on him, he never quit. He never quit. And had he quit, we'd be having a different conversation. So he wanted to fight. And as long as he was fighting, Kendra and I were going to be right there yelling at him and screaming at him to fight. My dad had a heart attack years ago. As they were doing CPR on my father, he told me, I could hear your mom. I could hear Don Beard, who was the EMT doing work on him. I could hear them talking to me. I couldn't speak. I couldn't respond, but I heard every word. And in the back of my mind, I could just remember my dad telling me the story. He felt the presence of Christ, and he felt the warmth of my mom and a good friend doing CPR on him, and he could hear them speaking, but he couldn't respond. So I knew Josh couldn't respond, but I wasn't going to quit. He would try to look at us, and he would continue to fight. And so I don't know if he'll ever really know, or if it ever come to him, but I wasn't going to give up on him, and he wasn't giving up. I think about the people that stepped in without any hesitation. Our staff did an amazing job. Had anybody at any point, even though they've been trained and trained and trained, they had taken a little bit longer or not been decisive about what they were doing, he might not have made it. But we have a great staff, and everyone did their jobs without any hesitation, committed to it, and whatever it took to fight. And then the professionals that showed up in the hospital, same thing. Everybody just stepped in a big way. I think God stepped in a big way. He could have had that seizure anywhere. He could have been off on his own without any medical personnel around. We could have had guys tied down in other areas. He was where he needed to be with the people he needed to be with for him to make it through this. Every doctor I talked to at the hospital said it's a miracle. He's not supposed to survive this. Before we even got to the point where he woke up way before they thought he would. And so just every step of this way has been about each person that's been in the equation doing exactly what they needed to do, exactly how they needed to do, without any hesitation. And so, and Josh is willing to fight. His willingness to fight and not give up. So I'll never forget Thursday for a lot of different reasons. Number one, as a head coach and a father, you don't want to see it happen, but the way everybody responded, the way God stepped in, the way Josh fought, the way every person did their job, the way the team responded around it, it'll be something that we'll never forget. We'll use it as a teaching opportunity, as every head coach and father does. I've already talked to our players about life is not promised. It's a gift. Be grateful for every opportunity you get. And me as a Christian, it's just my faith, know that if you took your last breath, where you're going to be. And so, Josh's life is going to change moving forward, but he's still going to be part of our family. And if they tell him he can never run or pass route again or catch another ball, we'll find something else for him to do. And I know he's going to be successful regardless. Same reason he got up off the turf and beat every deadline they gave us over the course of the weekend. Same reason he's going to continue to be successful. So I'll answer questions later, but I appreciate you guys coming today. So you're Mike.
I just kind of like to echo what they have said about this being about Josh and his family. There are a lot of people that were involved in this, and we'd like to thank them. First of all, like coaches said, Kendra and Brady, some similarities with Danny. Back when it happened with him, I was actually our CPR instructor for all of our entire staff. Kendra actually does that for us now. So that training and teaching people that all that time helps. Brady went and got the AED, got everything moving there. So just knowing that you can just focus on what you're doing and your staff around you is doing what they need to do. That was a huge advantage for us. One of my residents, Navai, off to the side here. He was there. He was helping. We had another resident there that was helping. So grateful for them. They all stepped up. They all did a great job. Unfortunately, we had the result that we did. Campus Police, EMS, they were there. They did an outstanding job as well. They need to be commended for that. Logan Regional Hospital, the emergency room down there, they were outstanding with us. And the same thing down at McKay-Dee Hospital. It's just been top-notch care from top to bottom. So when he went down on the field until he was up and around, until I saw him again on Saturday, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it just had a positive feel to it from my standpoint for the whole way through. So not going to go into the details of what actually happened on a minute-by-minute basis, but we are grateful that Josh is here. We're grateful that his family is here and that they're up and around, and we're grateful that he's a part of the Aggie family. Thanks.
So I just wanted to say a few words and a few thank yous, to a bunch of people I'm very grateful for. First of all, it's been a crazy week, much of which I don't have much recollection of. So I first just want to thank God for the opportunity to be here standing in front of you guys today. Exactly a week ago, I was lying on the field fighting for my life, and now I'm able to walk into this room and talk to all of you. So I'm just very blessed to be here. First of all, I want to thank all the EMTs and emergency staff at the Logan Hospital, as well as at the IC unit and cardiac department at McKay-D in Ogden. They were all absolutely amazing, as these guys have said. So very blessed for those guys. Next, I want to thank my head coach, Coach A, as well as the entire football staff. Coach A was by my side from the time I went down to the time my parents arrived from Carlsbad. He wouldn't let me give up. He was yelling at me to fight and praying I would survive. And once I was in the hospital, he stayed right by my bed until my family arrived. So I'm very grateful. Next and most importantly, I want to thank our trainers, really our entire training staff, but our head trainers, Mike, Kendra, and Brady. Without the three of them, I really would not be here today. There's no question they truly saved my life. Every doctor I've spoken to during the last week said that the CPR 110% saved my life. So I'm very grateful for them. I can't thank you guys enough, and I'll never forget what you guys did for me. You always have a special place in my heart and in my life. So thank you guys very much.
I shouldn't have gone after him, but I just wanted to say, obviously, a quick thank God for this miracle, and thank you guys so much. I can't thank everybody so much. Like words can't express it. And I also want to say thank you to all the people that have been saying prayers and sending support and their love, our family and our friends. We have so many people back home that are taking care of our daughter and just reaching out to us, and everyone here and at all the medical staff and our family and friends. Just thank you beyond words. Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to say a quick thank you kind of to the extended Aggie family. When we were in the hospital, it was amazing how many people either called, emailed, came to visit. We had alumni, we had coaches, we had other students, teammates. It was just amazing. Each time they walked in, it kind of brightened Josh up, and it was just unbelievable. And when you send your first kid away to college, it's always a little nerve-wracking. And then when it's an athlete, it's even more. So you're always worried, who's watching them, who's taking care of them. And I can say to anybody that's watching this, that's not something you have to worry about at Utah State. It was unbelievable what everyone did, the communication. As you've heard, we had to get here from California. So people were saying, okay, when you land, call us. Right before you take off, call us. We'll give you an update. And the communication the whole way out here, those few hours when we were traveling out here was unbelievable. And then kind of as a thank you to these people right here, we're making a donation to the Utah State sports medicine team in honor and recognition of Mike, Kendra, and Brady. We hope anyone watching this will consider also making a gift in support. And our goal is to use these gifts in an endowment in recognition of Mike, Kendra, and Brady that will provide funding to the USU sports medicine team for years to come. I think Doug's got an info with a website that he can share, but that's what we're hoping is we can grow this into an endowment that goes on for years in their name. So, thank you.
Okay, we'll open up for questions now. So just let us know who your question is for, and then we'll have them come to the podium.
One question for Mike. It's just a curiosity thing. It's like, with Danny, the AED device was newly installed. It's fairly close. Like, how close is that device in the stadium?
We keep it on the field. We keep all that stuff. All of our emergency stuff is on the field with us. So it was. When he went down, Kendra was right there. I was probably 10, 15 yards away. So, and the AED was within 50 yards. I don't know exactly how long that took. We were busy with other things, but the advantage of having staff there, kind of like with Danny, a student manager, knew what it was because we had trained him, and he had actually had other training as well. So as soon as he went down, he went and got it. And here, the same thing. Brady ran and grabbed it as soon as he went down. So we keep all that stuff out on the field with us. Oh, we've had AEDs probably 2010, 2009, 2010. I don't know the exact date of when we got our first one, but we've had them out at practices for years. So, and they have them. One of the good things, and I appreciate the endowment. I think that's amazing. One of the good things about all this stuff, when Danny did it, we now have AEDs in every building on campus, multiple AEDs in every building on campus. So using this as a positive platform to get information out there, I think is something that can be very valuable for everywhere. Talking to Mrs. Davis, she works at a high school where they have an AED. This company is trying to get another AED for them, and this can bring some awareness to that high school. So hopefully other universities can use this for awareness as well.
Mike, can you explain non-traumatic?
That's kind of a media term. It was pretty traumatic. So yeah, basically they use non-traumatic, meaning you didn't get hit. So I think that's kind of where that is.
Is it important this is not football related? This is not a football related?
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it was. If he'd have taken a hit in the chest, then it's a football collision injury, probably considered a traumatic injury. But it was pretty traumatic.
I'd also like to ask, you mentioned that Josh has had a seizure before. Talk about it. I mean, what that happened. Obviously got cleared and everything was good for him to go again.
Yeah, he. If Josh is okay with me explaining that a little bit, it was similar. He fell over and had a seizure type episode. Was never classified as a seizure. We did a full cardiac workup, had him see specialists, came back that everything was normal. So he later got cleared after 3 or 4 weeks to be back out at football.
Was the cause of that the same as the cause of what happened last Thursday?
They haven't found any. I don't know. We don't have anything on that. I don't know if they've told the family anything.
They still haven't
Yeah.
found the cause after all the tests we went through. They still don't have.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mike while he's at the podium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions for others?
Kind of mentioned the future. What is the future, Josh? What is your future?
He's asking you. Yeah, go ahead.
Josh,
Go ahead.
step up,
You
please.
can probably be loud enough there. Go ahead.
Gotta get this so the mics can pick it up.
Yeah. There you go.
So as far as the doctors that I've talked to, the short answer for playing football in the future is probably not. But I'm kind of not really worried about that right now. Kind of just taking it slow, taking it day by day, and we'll see what happens in the future. But obviously, as Coach said, I'm always going to be grateful to be a part of this Aggie family. And so I'm definitely going to be around the team and have jobs to do with the team, and always involved with the team. So, yeah.
You mentioned
A lot of it has just been like a lot of storytelling, a lot of prayers, obviously. As guys were coming to visit me in the hospital, just kind of breaking down exactly what happened, because obviously I wasn't really aware of much. So that kind of made me more aware of kind of what happened. And then just obviously seeing those guys afterwards has been awesome. So.
you said you don't remember a time, but what things do you remember? I mean, they mentioned, like obviously, the trainers are trying to support you in the moment. They also mentioned you waking up in the hospital. Do you remember those moments specifically?
Not really. I remember we had meetings before practice that day, going out onto the field for warm-ups, and it obviously happened at the very beginning of practice. So kind of from a little bit before it all went down to Thursday, Friday, and much of Saturday is kind of pretty fuzzy. I remember moments like people coming in saying hi. But yeah, it's kind of all a little bit fuzzy from those couple of days. So.
Any other questions for Josh? Okay. Questions for anybody else?
I had a question for Matt and Chrissy. I was just curious, who was the main touch updated and just that entire process.
Yeah, the first call we got was Coach Anderson, and he was with Mike and Brady, and then it was kind of a group text with them along the way, and if a phone call was needed, then it was a phone call. But basically, the three, Coach A, Mike, and Brady, were our main contacts. So we got the call probably 3:30 California time, 4 o'clock, and then unfortunately that late in the day it was hard to find a direct flight. But then we got to Ogden maybe 1 o'clock in the morning.
Other questions? Okay. Thanks for everybody for coming out today.